This little boy has an IQ of 180. He is taking the world's hardest exam. If he passes the test, he will not only get into the best schools in the world, he will also receive a full scholarship. But the odds are only 1 in 10,000. The first level of the exam, the IQ test. Everyone in the exam room is racking their brains. After the questions are answered, the invigilator reads the papers on the spot and announces the names of those who have made the grade.
Reynard Muldoon!
Everyone couldn't believe it. Only one person in the whole room passed the exam. Soon it was time for the second round. Only one pencil is allowed in the exam room. 5 minutes before the test was due to start, the girl accidentally dropped her pencil down the drain. The crowd saw it and avoided it. Reynie, who was passing by, saw the scene. He didn't say a word. He broke off his own pencil and gave her half of it. The two of them entered the exam room without a hitch. But this round was even tougher. To pass, you had to answer all the questions correctly. The invigilator solemnly said 8 words. Read the questions carefully, both front and back. You can open the paper. All the candidates were dumbfounded. These questions are of professorial difficulty. Candidates became anxious. Some of them even gave up. However, Blackie was the first to finish the questions. Before she left, she even threw down a small note on purpose. It was a way of repaying him. But Reynie didn't even think about it and kicked it away. He flipped through the exam paper again and again. He kept repeating the teacher's words in his head. He soon realized that this round was not about knowledge. It was a test of observation and thinking skills. The answers to all the questions were found on the paper. After finding the pattern, he raced against time. He finally finished all the questions, and still, only Reynie passed the test. This world-class examination. In the end, there were only 5 people left. They were all 1 in a million geniuses, led by their invigilator. They were led to a room covered in black and white tiles. To pass the test, several people had to make it across the room without stepping on the square. They need to make it to the opposite side of the room. This little girl is put to the test with a disdainful face. He looked around the room. Confidently, he gives the answer.
Is no.
But sadly, the girl was eliminated. But the remaining 4 didn't disappoint. They put their heads together. They came up with their own answers. Kate pulled out the rope. A tightrope walker was the best way to get through. The tall man bounced off the walls. Jack got down on his elbows and knees. Little by little he moved forward. No stepping, but it doesn't say you can't climb. And the genius Reynie uses the formula to calculate exactly. He strutted out of the room. The other 3 are stunned. Reynie calmly explains. The rules say you can't step on a square, but a quick calculation shows that all the tiles are not the same length, so they weren't all square. The examiner was quite pleased. The invigilator then led them into the next examination room. Through the dark sewers, they arrived at a manor house. It didn't look like a school at all. The girl who had thrown the pencil earlier had turned up. He's transformed into an examiner. It turned out that the girl had tested them one by one by throwing pencils and answers. This made a few people feel scared. The final round required them to escape from the maze in 5 minutes. Climb the stairs. The first 3 people to ring the bell passed extremely well. When the test began, Reynie was the first to spot the markings on the wall. Every few steps you could see a few arrows, but there didn't seem to be any pattern. It was at this point, Reynie remembered the examiner's tip. He closed his eyes and reached out to touch it. Kate has always taken the unusual route. He took a different approach, prying open the ventilation duct with a spanner he had with him. He climbed in without any problems. Jack took the classic solution, testing this route. If it doesn't work, take another one. He can't forget anything. Just remember all the routes, and you'll be able to crack the maze. All 3 men struggle to answer the questions, but Big Tall Man has found a shortcut. He follows Jack out of the maze. At the crucial moment on the stairs, he made his move. He slams Jack straight into the side. The big man overtakes him in a flash. He got ahead of him. Reynie heard the sound and was on his way to the stairway. He stopped in his tracks.
Are you okay?
Just as the clock struck, only 15 seconds left. Without another word, Reynie, he picked up Jack and climbed to the top floor. The teacher said that only the tall man was in the room to ring the bell. Kate arrived on time, but refused to ring the bell. The 3 of them smile at each other, ringing the bell together. At this point, the invigilator announces the results of the test. The big, tall man is eliminated. He was confused. Didn't the first 3 ringers pass the bell? Why was he eliminated? It turned out that this round of exams was a test of their solidarity and love, helping each other out. In the end, the 3 passed the test with flying colors, and it wasn't the best school that was waiting for them. There were no so-called scholarships either. They followed the invigilator and met the big man behind the scenes. After a little chat, another little girl came in, and this little girl was very nasty, and sarcastically called them idiots. Hearing this, the 3 of them were very upset, until they calmed down. The big man then said slowly that next, you will be teenage agents. You're going to be teenage agents on a mission to save the world. The mastermind behind it is hiding in a mysterious institute on the island. You will need to infiltrate it, find out who's behind it, and stop their plot.